now. So I'm going to go
Okay.
ahead and start it just to see if it works. Because if it doesn't, then we get to stop.
Okay. I got you.
So all is well.
Eric, it should be something you push in the text message that was just sent to you.
Yeah, good. Yeah. All right. We are live. I'm here.
I sent. You didn't tell me to do that, so it's in your.
Mutant Dan. All right. It is 7:59 and 30 seconds. So we'll get going here shortly after 8 o'clock. In the meantime, you get to look at this. Do, 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 do. All right, that right there talking is Dan Chaika talking on the phone to somebody. He's muted. I'm going to unmute him. So let's have you unmute, Dan. Can you unmute?
There we go. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's all right. See, I do this little trick here. See, this way, this is my fancy alternative right here. So, hi, everybody. It is 8 o'clock on the East Coast, and I'm Eden Casteel here with Dan Chaika. We are here to talk about the Holidays album and to premiere Dan's video for his song on the album, What Are You Doing Rosh Hashanah Eve? As you can see, we have music video premieres for this album for the rest of the week. And it's the first night of Hanukkah. So this is the second night of video premieres, first night of Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah, Dan.
Thank
Hope
you.
It's a great night. And so this is Rosh Hashanah Eve tonight. Tomorrow is Caroline Maynard, Colors to Christmas. And then Santa Has a Tummy Ache, Snow Song, Drop Me at a Christmas Movie, Torch Song from Mrs. Claus. And we finish up with my song, The Fourth of Chris Path. Thank Miss Ween. All of this is available on the album Holidays, which is available at Bandcamp, EdenCasteel.musicstudio.bandcamp.com. I feel like a radio announcer. Did I miss my calling? Maybe I should have been a radio announcer. I played one time. I was in high school. I played in a two-person play called Greater Tuna. You ever see Greater Tuna? No one did. It was a thing in the 80s. And so our high school did it. And I played one of the characters named Bertha Bumiller. And I played a radio announcer. And I kept on messing up one of the phrases. I remember it very well. I was on stage with Mark McPhilmy. And we were playing two radio announcers. And I was supposed to keep on talking about how there was the existence of UFOs in Texas. There's UFOs in Texas. I had to say it over and over again. UFOs. But I didn't say UFO. I said OFUs. I kept saying it over and over again. I just blanked or whatever. And Mark just kind of like, slid under the table. Like, what are you doing, Eden? I didn't know. High school theater, man, is something. So anyway, Dan, you're here. I'm so glad. So Dan Chaika, you live in Providence.
Yes, I do.
Yes, I hope you do. And what is like your muggle job? What do you do during the day?
I'm an attorney during the day.
Mm-hmm. And how long have we been working together?
This is probably we're in our second year. I think we're in our second year.
We met through Barker Playhouse. Is that right?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. I got a referral through Barker. You came to one of the. What was it? Funny thing happened on the way to the forum.
Mm-hmm. A fun show.
I met you downstairs there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you came and you started singing some stuff because you're looking for audition material, but then pretty quickly you started performing and showcases things that I did. What do you remember doing with me in the past year and a half?
We did a thing at the Pump House, and I think the thing at the Pump House, and then I think that was the only real big production I remember. And then we started. We got hit by the. You did a bunch of open mics that you do for a while, and then the pandemic hit us, and it's funny because I was having such fun doing this that I started doing it remote because the drive back and forth, you're in South County and I'm up here. That's a long way to go if I'm trying to, sing with you a couple of times a week. So we actually started and set up our equipment before the pandemic hit. At the end of last year, we were already becoming virtual. And, so it's been a real refresher to have this available when I've been basically going to my office and cloistering myself, trying to avoid a lot of people, keeping myself less exposed as possible. Although we
We
But
both.
we were doing this project. I ended up getting exposed and having to quarantine. And we actually did a COVID song in the middle of preparing this, in the middle of this whole writing master classes and doing writing and then writing the music and learning and singing and performing. In the middle of all of that, in the space of less than 2 weeks, we put together a COVID parody song that we released before I got out of it was what are you, instead of what are you doing Rosh Hashanah Eve, it is what were you doing during quarantine. And
Right.
what we did during quarantine was get on, and you were wonderful to be able to be there and to squeeze me into your already busy schedule to deal with probably the first student you had who gets stuck having to be home quarantining. And uh, the roles reversed a few weeks later because you had the quarantine.
That's
So,
right.
you
I worked on a
know,
lot of these tracks at like, 11 o'clock or midnight because I was by myself hiding from everybody else in the studio. Oh,
it
yeah.
was interesting to get into a program where we were going to do holiday songs because, that's not really what I would. My nostalgic holiday songs are really more the tunes than the sentiment of what's going on because it's not really my holiday. But it's a wonderful time of year. And, I took the opportunity. At first, I was reluctant. I was going to pass, but I wanted to stay busy. And it's just so fun doing stuff. So we came up with this idea that I could do, a Jewish holiday song. And the problem was it couldn't be a comedic parody type of song. Adam Sandler's already kicked that one out of the park, and anything else would just be, just wouldn't be the same. So we went with something more nostalgic, like something my grandparents would have listened to, or I would have overheard growing up between my parents and my grandparents. And it's got this kind of, it could be 40s, 50s, kind of feel, and maybe even a little older. But
We got the title first.
yeah, we did.
Once we chose the holiday, and we were thinking about if staying away from Christmas. So I started thinking about what are all of the holiday songs that aren't specifically about Christmas. So that could be like the Thanksgiving ones, like Over the River and Through the Woods and things like that. But then also just past Christmas was New Year's. And then suddenly I remembered, of course, the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, which is never in January. It's always what, October, September, October-ish.
It might be as early as September, but it's usually in October. So we used, in the lead into this song, I used 3 months, which is a good guide. We've already blown through our New Year's celebration, our harvest celebrations. We built our sukkahs. We've marched our way through the high holidays, and we're hunkering down for the winter. And this was an interesting concept, I think.
And what are some of the traditions if people haven't celebrated Rosh Hashanah? What are some of the things that absolutely happen?
Well, so you start your new year and you celebrate with something sweet on the table, usually apples and honey or dates or things of that nature. They use a round challah, which is the bread. They use a round challah bread because it doesn't have ends. It's supposed to be the whole coming around of the year. At least that's how it was billed to me. Some folklore thing. I don't think it's a religious basis. I think it's just we always had a round challah at Yom Kippur. And I mean, Passover, Yom Kippur, you fast. I'm not Passover. I'm tongue tied. At Rosh Hashanah, right for the new year.
Mhm.
And the other thing that's big about it, and there's a reference in the video to it. It's when they play the ram's horn, which is called the shofar, and they trumpet in the new year. So you'll see a line if you listen. You'll listen to a line if you're paying attention, where I make an analogy to a shofar, and that's what that is. And
Good. And
all
about,
get together. It's a big feast. It's a fun festival, and it's a fun meal usually.
and you said you did bring a date sometimes.
I brought dates probably right through high school, right up until I got married, and even since then, my mother, my grandmother, and my mother always had a very open table. The more people you brought over, the better it was. The bigger there was always room at the table for somebody. There was always plenty of food. I
Mhm.
mean, tons of food. So.
All right. I think without further ado, let's
Yes.
watch the video
Oh,
for
good.
What Are You Doing Rosh Hashanah Eve. I'm going to pull this up here on my Zoom. I'm going to make it a nice big screen. And this was filmed at Temple Bethel in Providence. Make sure, can we hear? Let's see here.
Happy New Year to the Gentiles, ringing bells out in the cold. But for God's chosen people, the New Year's 3 months old. I'm counting down the minutes till I can celebrate with you the eve of Rosh Hashanah 5782. I got us front row tickets in the temple's finest pew, where the cantors singing that Avinu Malkeinu. My heart is like a shofar, and it's bleeding just for you on Rosh Hashanah Eve. We'll dine at my bubby's, she's been cooking for a week. She'll stuff you with her kishke and leave lipstick on your cheek. I'll talk politics with my uncles. It's the only time we speak on Rosh Hashanah Eve. I'll hold your hand like my mother holds a grudge. Feed you dates and holla. Give your knee a little nudge. You could be an atheist, but who am I to judge? For I have faith in us. Yom Kippur is holy, Passover is too. Hanukkah goes slowly, I wanna share it all with you. Lashana Tova, baby, out with the old, in with the new, on Rosh Hashanah Eve. Strolling down Cold Spring Street, past leaves of golden red. You've made me very happy, I can't wait until we're wed. Necking with the Maidala who will love me till I'm dead. On Erev Rosh Hashanah, on Rosh Hashanah Eve.
Bravo! Woohoo!
Wow. So thank you, Stephen Gruber, for the wonderful, wonderful clarinet at the end.
Yes. And we filmed that, yes, the Temple Bethel. So thank you to Cantor Judy Supplement also for letting us come in and film there nice and safe.
And
So
you
that
talk
was-
about nostalgia. That is the temple I went to as a small child up until we became teenagers and moved out to the country. And my family had been members there for years. And it was wonderful for you to be able to get me to film there. In the beginning, I didn't think we'd film at a temple. I thought maybe we'd go in front of someplace and take a few shots, and the rest of it would be around a, like a dining room table that we set up to look like it was a big family meal.
There's some people who are saying hi to you. One says, yeah, Dan, Mr. Beatsy 247 on YouTube. And Eva Jimenez is saying, bravo, hermano.
Oh, I love it. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. He said, you're getting claps. You're getting applauses.
Oh, that's how I'm getting good. Oh, thank you, people. That's wonderful.
I've actually sung at Temple Bethel for the past several years for High Holy Day. So that's how I know Judy Sepulwin. And I hosted her at Jam at the GAM Theater in Warwick last summer. Yeah, last summer of 2019. She was one of my guests because she's a wonderful singer. And so she did a whole bunch of show tunes and a little bit of some Yiddish tunes. It was just really wonderfully done. And we packed the place. I mean, the temple turned out for her. They wanted to hear her sing non-cantory stuff.
Oh,
Which-
hopefully she'll sing this then. That'd be wonderful.
Exactly. I hope she
Yeah.
will. And we wrote it with kind of that in mind, that it sounds a lot like a Frank Lesser tune, like What Are You Doing New Year's Eve? But it could be done by anybody who's kind of a slightly humorous, but still fond song for a Jewish holiday. So yeah,
Yeah.
Judy can definitely sing this. And you sing it great.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was really fun. It really was.
What's next for you, do you think? What would you like to do?
You know, I haven't given it much thought. I'm just looking forward to writing. Sorry, some the fans are texting too. So
Yeah. Good. Well, I keep on trying to get, Dan, since you're a lawyer, I keep on talking to you about Gilbert and Sullivan, because they have a lot of legal plots and a lot of songs about law. And you are kind of thinking about a one-person show down the road.
Life has been a one-person show.
Yeah.
So this has just been the soundtrack to it. So that's the beauty of, you know, participating with Eden Casteel's music school. It is, you get to stay involved, you know, you don't just stop doing this, right? So it's nice to be able to work in little projects and have something to show for it and maybe stretch your abilities. So with this, I got to do 2 videos, and each one, the process was creating the music, then creating the concept for the video, working on the music, because just creating the lyrics and working on the song, it takes a while to get it to really come together and have a cohesiveness that makes you feel like it's, you know, not that there's anything wrong with being just a wonderful poem or wonderful lyrics, but it's nice when you can really add that other dimension to it. And then to be able to put it together into a video, you know, it was quite a process. And I'm sure if we give it some thought or we come up with a central idea, the next one should be pretty wonderful as well, I figure. You know, the last project was a cover song that we took from that was very popular in the 50s, but we went and found it, one of the original not the original, but one of the earliest versions. Must have been recorded in like the 1930s or 40s. And,
yeah, that was Let There Be Love that you did on the 6 Feet from Stardom album back in June. And we found it was a African-American male, right, who was living in London in the 30s, and he recorded it first. So our friend Tish Adams suggested going back and finding the earliest possible version of a song we could find, and then working our way forward to come up with your own arrangement. And that's exactly what we did. So you've done a lot this year, Dan. And
yeah, I've tried to make this especially since I'm homebound, I've been trying to make this just something that I do to relax. Sometimes, you know, I'll come up to bed late after going down in my basement and just playing with the equipment that we have and working with some of the electronic recording programs internet-based programs where we can swap tracks back and forth and play, you know, I can get music from you and then I can work on my vocals with it and hear the music at the same time. So I find it really relaxing and exciting at the same time, but then, you know, it kind of fulfills and makes my day. I think it rounds the day out. And, you know, before I met you, I was still singing. I was singing in my car. I was singing in my shower. I was, you know, singing when I was walking my dogs. So this just kind of steps it up a little and gives it some purpose. I'm sorry, someone is insisting on coming.
Hello, dog. Yeah. That's what I'd like to see students do. I see so many students who have a desire to sing and they come, I just want to know if I can. I get that question a lot. Can I sing? And then I say, yes, because you can. Then what? What am I supposed to do with this voice? And there are options. There were options before the pandemic, you know, community theater, open mics, even though there aren't that many of them, writing your own stuff, recording your own stuff, karaoke. Those are the options. But if those options don't suit you, or if they're full and there's no space for you, then what do you do? So that is why I create these opportunities for my students. And you're a perfect example of somebody who just takes that stuff, which is wonderful. You did the Casteel Hayride. You came to my living room for happy hours where we had singers come in and coach. You did the 6 Feet from Stardom. You kept taking lessons in the midst of the worst pandemic. And I saw you online twice a week, 8:30 in the morning, right before you started your day. We'd have
my day.
office or sometimes in your car. And you came to my back deck this summer to take songwriting lessons, to take music improv. And then you sang with a trio on my deck in August. I had a 3 Sunday thing called Sing for Your Supper, and you brought food. Yay. So you did all that with a voice. And it was the idea of what can I do with my voice? You're doing things with your voice. And now this. And even in the midst of being quarantined, you still worked on songs and you were creative. So Dan, you are a great example of somebody who has really made something wonderful in this horrific time. And
It actually helped me in this terrific time to already have a whole studio set up at my office. And after the quarantine, I now have one set up at my house too. So actually my office has been moved, but I did recreate the studio at the temporary location.
yeah, you're doing the thing, which is great. Dan also has the best Zoom backgrounds of any student I have. I can always tell what mood he's in by whatever background shows up when we have a lesson. Sometimes it's the Death Star. Sometimes it's A Vision of Hell by Matt Groening. Sometimes it's a library. It's always fun to figure out what he's thinking. So, but yeah, you use tech. It's basic tech. It's not tech that's really hard for anybody to use, but you have really used it to your advantage as far as your artistry, your musicianship, and connecting with people. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well,
So I look forward to seeing what you do next, man.
Yeah.
I better come up with some plans, huh?
We're going to give you till the new year. And then, you're going to start 2021 off running.
I am. One of the things I do, I'm just saying this for the viewers, is by the end of the year, everybody who's been active in the studio in 2020 is going to get a survey from me. And we're going to talk about how the year went for you and what you want to do next. So that way you start thinking ahead. We all need something to look forward to. And this project has been great for me as well as my students to have something to look forward to and to watch all of you grow and develop as artists. So I'm looking forward to doing things with you like that, but we're going to have to talk about it. And so it's not going to be like, oh, we're going to do this in my studio. It's going to be, what are we going to do? Which is exciting.
Well,
what are we going to do until we get vaccinated?
I don't see there being much community theater in the spring. So, you kind of have a monopoly on the fun. It has been nice to see the Barker's been putting some stuff up and everybody's trying. But it is trying times for sure.
It really is. It really is. And I applaud everybody who is trying so hard to make things happen. It's not easy. We have some cool stuff coming out later this month. I'm going to do a Christmas cabaret with the CTC online. I started working on that today. The GAM has got their radio version of It's a Wonderful Life coming out soon. Trinity Rep's got the filmed Christmas Carol coming out. So everybody is trying these wonderful things, and they're going to be high quality and really enjoyable. And it is meant to tide us over until we can be back together again. So I'll do my part too, and so will you.
Great.
All right. Thank you all so much for tuning in tonight to watch Dan's premiere for What Are You Doing Rosh Hashanah Eve. This is on the Holidays album, Holidays, which is available at bandcamp.com. It's EdenCasteelMusicStudio.bandcamp.com, or just make it easier on yourself. Go to my website, EdenCasteel.com, and it's right there. And you can buy it from there. Enjoy all the tracks. There are 8 tracks total by 6 singers. And tomorrow night, we will have Caroline Maynard here at 8 p.m., and she will premiere her song, Colors of Christmas. We'll be having premieres every night through December 16th. So we hope to see you there. And thank you all very much. Have a very good night.
Bye.